Freedom Month!
America!
And 15 years of PlayStation Plus, meaning it getting hacked, us getting free games, and Sony giving us some very mid games, and some of the best games I've ever played. Let's start by discussing King of Complexity, King of Fighters. King of Fighters. It's got a lot of combos, even more commands, and very specific timings, reactions, and all the things to come with overly complex fighting games. I hated most of it. Or at least at first I did. Information overload in a game like this can act exactly like in most games, a pot slowly coming to a boil. By the time you notice it's probably overwhelming, it's almost definitely too late, and just pisses you off. What does it want from me? Oh my god! 1, 2, 3. Nope. Alright, fuck. Once you purge the information you only retained half of anyway, you can actually enjoy the game a bit by completing the story in about an hour. Oh, I literally just beat the game. What the hell? Okay, in exactly like 1 hour and 50 minutes. It'll make you feel like a full-on speedrunner, button spam any percent style. Despite it ending super quickly, it made me feel good enough about my skills to take the online mode. This was a grave lapse in judgment on my part. Even players with the same or lower rank than me were mopping the floor against my half-baked attempts at combos, and even worse, my stark lack of cancellations or any kind of ability to punish mistakes and poor timings on their part. While my lack of experience in fighting games, having a lot of hours in Smash Bros. Reared its ugly head, this was still a solid time, and is very clearly a game that you can spend hours mastering. And hell, I mean, SNK must know what they're doing and have the staying power, with this being the 15th numbered entry in the franchise. I have to specify that because at this point there's been nearly 30 King of Fighter games made, which is insane. The character design here is also definitely something from Dinosaur. Oh, is he wearing a mask? I'm not gonna lie, him not being an actual dinosaur is nowhere near as hype. Legit was hoping he'd be a real true dinosaur, and he's just not, and that's just disappointing. To women, Jesus. Who is that? Love it or hate it, this game will beat you down, but assuming you can Rocky your way through it and keep moving forward, I could see a good time being had here. I, for one, will not be returning to it, but that doesn't mean it isn't worth the time to download or space on your drive, because it totally is. But there's also absolutely easier and simpler fighting games out there to start with. On the outside looking in, Diablo IV looks like it'd be one of the most boring games to watch, but if the opening cinematic is anything to go off of, the story being told here visually, if nothing else, is technically and thematically impressive and outshines many other games released today. I mean, literally, just look at Lilith's cape. It's made from the blood of 3 sacrificial humans. What the hell was that? That's so cool. So how's the gameplay then? Well, I went with a necromancer that resurrects the dead to do his bidding, so standing back and sort of just watching as my undead army handled most threats was chill, but may have unintentionally taken away from the experience for me a bit. I don't know. Getting to occasionally swing my scythe at larger, beefier foes helped though. Enemies ranging from small little guys to massive behemoths that took most of my spells to take down. Classes like Spiritborn, Barbarian, or Druid may have allowed me to play more active roles in combat, but there is also a really cool element to simply calling your victims forth to fight for you after being slain in battle. By you. Character creation also goes into great detail considering you don't really see them up close again, at least from what I played. Back into gameplay, you seem to just run around, kill monsters of varying sizes, and perform fetch quests that I presume eventually lead to you fighting Lilith, stumbling into other players occasionally along the way. Gumby Crash? Is that another player? Like another actual player? Holy hell. While it did seem like the difficulty was low, I didn't set the game to hard, so if you're looking for more of a challenge, go ahead and crank it up to hard. It should be relatively manageable, especially with so many higher difficulty tiers. The opening moments of the story are genuinely intriguing and well told, with a small village of seemingly helpless people benefiting from your involvement, only turning out to be children of Lilith, adopting her teachings and preparing to kill you once you've been stuffed full of her blood petals. It's about as culty as it sounds, trust me. Don't worry though, a crazed monk intervenes and your adventure begins. Honestly, the gameplay here is so lax by nature that it has you drifting from location to location in search of loot that I myself sort of made no real progress on the story. I'm not even complaining either, the game looks so good, plays so well, and flows so easily that it actually feels like a very easy game to get lost in. Diablo IV is marred with less than stellar reviews on Steam, with users going against recommending the game by saying things like, quote, "The story is serviceable but unfinished. Blizzard has opted for a continual story with limited resolutions to keep people paying for expansions." Knowing this, I wouldn't go in with story completion in mind, and forever games get harder to recommend every day. But the gameplay itself is just good and well executed enough that I'd say it's worth the time to download. Whether or not the space on your drive makes sense depends on your feelings around Blizzard Entertainment and their decision to seemingly microtransact the game's story. Gross, but also most likely wouldn't ruin the 50 or so hours of solid gameplay loop that's definitely available here. Jusant, noun, a French nautical term from a receding tide. The first part of that word, jus, means a thin gravy or sauce made from meat. The reason I mention that is this game is juicy and flavorful. We've got a hulking sausage as the main setting you have to climb, crabs, a little squishy water droplet thing guiding you along the way, and a lot of random lore that seems to bear no real weight in the grand scheme of the game, but is probably interesting to read nonetheless. I wouldn't know. I skipped all the pieces of lore I found in favor of the gameplay, which is to place carabiners, hook in your rope, and get to climbing some gorgeous scenery. There's not really a ton to say about Jusant. It's essentially Peaks of Yore meets Journey, and having enjoyed both of those games, one of them actually leaving an emotional impression on me, I feel with full confidence most, if not all, gamers should experience this once through. It just feels like the adventure and wonderment of hiking and climbing has been bottled up without the extreme stress and danger that typically comes along with them. Your only goal is to climb to the top and learn more about the climber and the world in which they exist. Along the way, you'll be treated with sights, audible memories, and collectible letters scattered around. Those are the things I button spam through every time I found them. Another letter. As someone with pretty severe acrophobia, any game that gives me the opportunity to safely enjoy scenery I can't really experience myself deserves praise in my book, which is why I'm saying this one is worth the time to download and space on your drive, because it really is a game you just have to experience for yourself. Another thing you have to experience for yourself are streams and other videos kind of like this one. Shut the f up, Scarlet. I mean, witch. Sorry. It's easy to confuse. I didn't mean that. And if you enjoyed that, be sure to subscribe to stick around for more. And as always, be sure to enjoy yourselves. Until the next one, stay frosty and stay humble.